Hey, I want to tell you just a little bit about our experiment with MMCs at Hope for Life. An MMC is a missional microchurch, and that tells you two really important things right off the bat. First, missional, that these are groups of people that really want to be about what God is about in our world. So we want to be seeing people brought to a saving relationship with Jesus and experiencing the wonder of that. And we also want to be a community full of good deeds, just overflowing with stories of how we're living lives of love. We want to be about seeking justice and mercy in our world and so on. So missional, but also microchurch. We have this growing conviction that certain things actually happen better in smaller groups than in larger groups. That the whole bigger is better phenomenon of the Western world so many times misses out on the power of the small, that so many times actually a group of 20 is more effective for many things than a group of 80 or 800 or 8,000. And so a missional micro church. Now we're really serious about running these MMCs as part of the broader church body that we call Hope for Life. And so on the first, third, and fifth Sundays, the whole church gathers together for a large meeting. But on the second and fourth Sundays, those in MMCs have their own meetings, and they may not attend the larger church gathering. And that's on purpose and by design. And these two types of gatherings are meant to be married together. We're not trying to separate. You need to know that at the outset. Now, MMCs are defined by 4 goals and a set of values. I can't tell you exactly what an MMC will be like because each one varies in practice. But it has these 4 goals and it has a set of values. The 4 goals are discipleship, worship, community, and mission. And everything we do is about moving towards those goals. And the values I'll talk about with just a little bit more length. So the first is that we'd be spirit-led, dependent, and surrendered. We really need God to lead us. We look for open doors. We pray and expect answers. That's a key value in an MMC. We believe that church can actually be easy and simple, but discipleship is a wonderful challenge. It's also the way to abundant life. But discipleship is hard. Church can be actually quite easy. And that's the opposite. I read an author earlier this year who said, in the Western world, by and large, we've made church really complex and hard, and we've made discipleship easy, and that's exactly backwards. And so in the MMC, one of our values is to flip that. We want to live fully devoted lives to Jesus. But church can actually be simple. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Another key value is that we'd be authentic. The second, that you start meeting in homes. There's an invitation and almost a necessity of getting beyond our carefully curated selves, our image management, our personal PR. When somebody's coming into your home, when you're bringing food, when you're engaged in the kind of community we have, you just can't curate yourself the way you can in a large gathering. And that's one of our values, that we would actually get to know one another deeply and learn to love one another as we actually are, not just as we'd like to present ourselves. Another key value is the centrality of our tables. We eat together a lot. We think there's something really important there. Another value is that everyone serves. We believe Jesus intended that everybody had an active role to play in his people. Everybody has gifts. Everybody brings something to the table. And so many times in larger church, those things don't have space to come out. But in microchurch, they do. And we deliberately structure ourselves to draw those things out. We have a goal of multiplying. We want to grow. We want to not just grow bigger and bigger, but to split and create more microchurches. We want to be sensitive to how God might be leading some of us, or 1 or 2 or 10 of the group, to start something new and be supporting that. We have a bias towards action. So many times in the Christian world, we get so caught up in learning more and more stuff, but we don't put into practice. Now, this is not anti-intellectual. I've never met somebody who knew too much. But what I have observed and seen and experienced myself is this deep tendency to learn but not to put into practice, to talk about but not to experience. And so we have a bias towards action in our MMCs. And finally, we experiment and we evolve. We will continue to adapt our structures to whatever is going to help us live out and reach our key goals and as God leads us. Practically speaking, we often meet 4 to 6 times a month. 2 of those will be on Sundays and the rest will be other times. What we do depends on the type of MMC it is. And the MMCs do vary, not in value and goal, but they vary in practice and in mission. And that's why I can't give you a more specific answer. If you want to know more about one, if you want to visit one, we'd love to have you do that. Love to buy you a coffee and chat with you about this. But this is your couple-minute intro into this experiment we're doing with MMCs at Hope for Life.